Welcome back, guys. It's Charlie Brown Politics. I'm Charles Brown. Today we're going to be starting a mini-series, okay? And the theme of this mini-series is going to be what the left used to be, what the left is supposed to be, values that the left used to uphold. Now, each individual video is going to go over a specific topic, and our topic today, guys, is going to be free speech. Now, guys, let me take you back to a time when people like FDR, JFK and RFK, Martin Luther King and Malcolm X all understood the importance and value of free speech. Now, it wasn't just people on the left that held this, okay, guys? Our founding fathers understood the importance of this. There's a reason why it's our First Amendments in the Bill of Rights. They knew that all the other amendments depended on free speech being upheld. Guys, there was a time when the ACLU used to stand next to Nazis that would want to do parades throughout the cities in the U.S. Not because they held the same values as the Nazis, no, but because they held integrity to the value of free speech. Now, that's what the left used to hold. And it seems to me, guys, that they no longer hold this value. And there's a lot of reasons for that. But for now, let's start to look at when this shift started to happen. So, I try to think when the first time the left or the Democrats, really started to assault free speech. And, the first thing that's popping up in my mind is going to be, let's jump back to the 1940s, when Henry Wallace, the vice president of FDR, was trying to grab the Democratic nominee after FDR passed away. Now, if you don't know about Henry Wallace, this man was an anti-imperialist, anti-racist, supported the common man, the working people, wanted to put money back in our hands. He even wanted Medicare for all. Now, what happened was, back in those days, it wasn't open primaries like it is now. You had to have someone nominate you at the Democratic committee. And so this convention, or I believe I just said committee, but either or, this convention was held, someone else gets nominated, and as the person that's going to go nominate Henry Wallace is walking up to the stage, some bitch ass pulls a fucking fire alarm and prevents him from ever becoming the nominee. And who knows, not just for free speech, what this country could have been if this guy actually could have grabbed a hold of that nomination. You could argue that the start of it was back in the 1990s, when the Democrats decided that they were going to start taking just as much corporate money as the Republicans did. That was the start of the DCCC. Go back and read Listen Liberal by Thomas Frank. You could argue that the shift started to happen when Bill Clinton passed the Telecommunications Act. This act that took it to where we had 50 major news conglomerates, and it whittled them down to 6, and it's still like that to this day. You could argue these attacks just kept happening, like when Obama repealed habeas corpus, or how about that time in 2016 when Obama signed that presidential executive order that allows the CIA and the FBI to propagandize its own civilians. Now, I know what you're going to say. Whoa, Charlie, it's not just the left. You're right, okay? I agree with you. It's not just the left. Look at the Patriot Act. But I have to hold the left more accountable on this issue, because they're the people that are not only supposed to be on the right side of this issue, but they use the vernacular and the language of, you know, I stand for free speech, I stand for these supposed values, but every chance you turn around, they stab you in the back, or they don't hold integrity to these values. Why is free speech so important? Beautiful question. I have talked about it in previous videos, but I'd love to go over it again. Guys, when you allow censorship and not every voice to be heard, these are tactics that have always been used to suppress voices of dissent, voices that challenge the status quo and threaten the status quo's profit. Let's think about where workers' rights would be, where women's rights would be, where minority rights would be, without people holding the value of free speech. And they held it during times where it wasn't always easy or popular to hold it. Okay, let's go back, guys, and reread 1984 and think about what thought police are again. Let's go back and reread Noam Chomsky's Manufacturing Consent. I don't know about you guys, but when I think about a government that does censorship and doesn't allow every voice to be heard, it takes me back, I don't know, to Germany in the early 1940s. It reminds me of when the church used to throw scientists in jail for their studies. And we have now seen, guys, what over the past handful of years, what not allowing free speech does, from lockdowns to the never-ending wars to climate change. And I fully believe that this is a value that we all need to hold, even in hard times. How did we get to the point where we're at, where the left is the champions of censorship and not allowing voices to be heard? Is it our obsession with this new woke culture? I'm sure that has something to do with it. I don't know. Let's think about social media, these major giant conglomerates that control so much information and thought on what we see and hear, and these algorithms that literally are designed to feed into your own narrative and not give you different perspectives. We have seen through the Twitter file revelations with Matt Taibbi that it wasn't just the FBI asking these major platforms to censor people, it was also the DNC. Look at what just happened with the Hunter laptop story. I thought this was supposed to be a fucking Russian propaganda piece, his laptop, but come to find out, oh my goodness, it's real. You know, ultimately, it just comes down to that our government has been bought and captured by these corporations that do not care about anything else but profit, right? It's profit over people, it's profit over the planet. Now, what can we do, guys? Well, about this attack on free speech and censorship. Well, we got to get money out of politics. I've talked about the trouble of trying to overturn Citizens United since it was passed by the Supreme Court. Guys, we got to stop giving money to these companies that don't allow free speech or value it where we realistically can, like a place like Amazon that I'm pretty positive that doesn't allow every voice to be heard amongst its workers. Obviously, it's not realistic that we can all just stop shopping there. Do what you can do. We all need to get involved in local politics. I'm guilty of not doing that enough as well. We need to support these platforms that are allowing free speech, like Rockfin and Rumble. Twitter's getting better since Elon bought it. It's not perfect, I know, but it's getting better. We got to support people that echo these values that we hold as well. And guys, most importantly, we have got to just have integrity with free speech ourselves during the hard times when it's not easy to do. In conclusion, guys, I want to read you a poem, and this poem was written by somebody who lived in Germany during the beginning of World War II and saw what happened through that. And he wrote a poem about his experience, and this poem encapsulates the theme of today's video, and that is free speech and why it's important. And so the name of the poem is First They Came by Martin Niemöller. First, they came for the communist, and I did not speak out because I was not a communist. Then they came for the socialist, and I did not speak out because I was not a socialist. Then they came for the trade unionist, and I did not speak out because I was not a trade unionist. Then they came for the Jews, and I did not speak out because I was not a Jew. Then they came for me, and there was no one left to speak out for me. Thanks for watching, guys. Please like and subscribe. I will see you next time.